tomorrow we're going to have a test, our first test over real number system. So I'm going to go through the review with you so you can check your work. We're going to start by completing the diagram of the real number system. So if you need to use your journal, that's fine, but remember tomorrow there will be no journal allowed, just your brain. So if you recall, we have natural or counting numbers. And I want you to give me an example of each, so, maybe 5. Could be any number you learned how to count when you were a kid. And then we have whole numbers. And remember, whole numbers are a subset of these up here, but natural is a subset of whole. So the whole number is going to be 0 and the natural number. So the only number that is going in the whole part of the Venn diagram is 0. Then we have integers. So integers are going to be negative numbers. Okay, it is natural numbers, whole numbers, and the negatives. So negatives, positives, and 0 all fall in the integers. And then we have rational numbers. And remember, rational numbers are numbers that can be written as a fraction. They can be positive. They can be negative because all of these are subsets of rational. They need to be a terminating or a repeating decimal. So I could, put negative 2/3. I could put 65%. If you really wanted to be super specific, down here in the natural, we could say the square root of 9, which is a positive 3, which is still a whole number, an integer, and a rational. Remember, the truth will come out. So as you go out, all of these, so is natural a subset of rational? Yes, because as you go out from natural, you do get to rational. Over here we have our irrational. And that's going to be like pi. It's going to be not a perfect square root. So we can say the square root of 15. Those are going to be your irrational numbers. All of these together complete the real number system. And you need to make sure that you can label a diagram and provide examples of each. So if we look down here, true and false are going to reply back to this. Are integers a rational number? Well, integers are within the rationals, so this is true. Whole number is a real. Well, here's whole, it goes out to real. That is true. Integers are irrational. No, that is false, because if you look, integers are in the rational section, irrational are by themselves. Natural number is a rational. Okay, well, natural go out to rational. Yes, that is going to be true. And irrational is a real. Irrational is within the real. So yes, this is true. 0 is a natural. That is false, because if you look right here, 0 is a whole. And to go to natural, I have to go in. Remember, we can only ever go out. Scientific notation, remember when we talked about scientific notation, you have a number between 1 and 9 and any other non-zeros. Times 10 to an exponent. This is a typo. I'm not sure what I did there. Let's fix this one. It says in scientific notation, so 0.00316. So the first number I come to between 1 and 9 is 3. My extra numbers are 1 and 6. Times 10. Now this is a small number, so I know my exponent is a negative 1, 2, 3. And remember, that means we're dividing by 10, dividing by 10, dividing by 10. This one, 4.92 times 10. This is a big number, so I have a positive. Here's my decimal. I want it to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. And remember, on scientific notation, it's always going to be just one number in front of the decimal. On the back, place the following on the number line. So you're not going to have your squares chart to use, but you will have a calculator. So I want to refresh you on how to do that. We always use a new document. and calculator. So if you recall, square root of 13, square root is here. It's yellow where the square is, so I need to hit Control squared, gives me the square root 13. We talked about make them all decimal so you can see what's happening. So I'm going to call this 3.6. I'm going to go ahead and just write it here. I'll worry about the number line in a minute. The square root of 28.8, so Control squared 28.8 is 5.36. And again, Control squared, that number was 19.28, 4.39, you can call it 4.4 even. After you have those, then you can put them on the number line. So I know here you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, there's spaces in between, so these are obviously halves. 3.6 is going to be just past 3.5, so I'm going to mark square root of 13. 5.36 is between 5, and think of it even as money if you wanted, $5, $5.50. Here's about 5.25. I'm going to go just to the right of it. And remember, we did talk about how you could estimate, 25 is 5 if we wanted to know. This is square root of 36, so we know that these are it's going to be in between. We can mark this square root of 16, square root of 9. Square root of 19 is between 16 and 25. So 4.4 is just to the left of 4.5. Square root of 19.28. So be able to place a square root on a number line and to compare them. Here we have Paula completely covered a square wall using 83.5 square feet. So the area of this wall is 83.5 feet squared of wallpaper. Write the measurement that is close to the side. Well, we know that area of a square is side squared, or side times side. So I have 83.5 is equal to something times itself. So I know that the inverse of a square is to take the square root. I know that this is between 9 and 10 because 9 is 81 and 10 is 100. Again, you're going to have a calculator. Here's my document. Control square root, and I can put 83.5. We'll just call this 9.1. You can go to the nearest tenth. So 9.1 feet, make sure you have units, is the length of one side of the wallpaper. Write the following in order from least to greatest. We did this with the cards in class. So again, we talked about making them match. So 6 over 37, 6 goes into 37 6 times with 1 6, which is, sorry, the line should not be over the 1, just the 6. So 0.16 with the 6 repeating. And then we don't have to change this one. Square root of 33, I know, is really close to 6 if I look up here, right? If I wanted to know exactly, I can say square root of 33, since we need to know an exact decimal, 5.74. And then this is a negative 5 goes into 26 5 times with 1/5 left over, so 0.2. So it says from least to greatest, these are both negative, so you need to think of it as money, but backwards. So negative 5.2, I'm going to write negative 26/5, is the lowest. And then I have this one, and this one. So when I list them, I can make sure I write them in the appropriate order. Square root of 33, and then 37 over 6. Write a fraction, decimal, and a percent that is greater than 60% and less than 2/3. So again, that whole comparing and ordering, I would definitely make these be the same. So 60% is 0.60. I need a number that is bigger than that, but less than, this is going to be 0.66 repeating. So a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. It doesn't matter which way you start. I'm going to start with a decimal because that just seems easier. I could say 0.65. I could then say, I can change it and it can match, right? So that's 65%. As a fraction, 65 over 100. Don't leave it like that. You need to simplify. 5 goes into 65. 1, 13 times, and 13 over 20. So if you write me a fraction, make sure you simplify. Make sure you study tonight. If you have any questions, send me an email. Have a great night.